Originally, this weapon has a loop right here for a lanyard. The way it worked was it was attached to the mainspring housing, but every time I dropped it, for some reason, oh wait a minute. For some reason, every time I dropped it, it would focus all the weight on that one spot when it hit the ground. So eventually, it after dropping about maybe four times, it would break off. So I actually like the profile of it now, how it's just flat like that. And like say you wanted it completely flat, so you could put it on a surface, put in the flat mag, and it is completely flat now. So thought that was a little interesting, but I used the mag with the bumper on it because it works. We'll go over the mag in a minute. And here are the grips. These are some awesome ass grips. These are based off Wilson Combat. They're not real. Some guy in our review said they were real. They look amazing though, if you could see all those little ribs in there. I read on Wilson Combat that these are described as ribbed. There's a thumb groove here which feels amazing, and you get easy access to your magazine release button, and they just look really cool. There's the Wilson trademark for the grip. There's the Wilson insignia for the grips, and this one looks really nice. The other one got kind of faded, maybe a little washed out. They are pretty nice. These grips are removable, and you can put this behind there and get that awesome feeling. Another funny thing is I've only ever seen these grips on this exact Airsoft model before, so that's a little interesting. Another interesting thing is that there's this thing called a magwell. So magwell is really common on high kappas and Glocks. But say you wanted a magwell for an MAU frame or classic Colt, what you would have to do is buy from like Nova or something like that and replace your entire mainspring housing, and the mainspring housing would have a magwell attached to it. But Wilson Combat, the real Wilson Combat, who makes the real version of this gun, this is actually a lot different than the real version. The real version of the Wilson Combat, which I will put a picture of, looks quite different. But they make a magwell that you can put behind your grip panels, but they are not compatible with this weapon. It was a idea I wanted to do, but the funny thing was that also, like these grips, which I've never seen on any other gun besides this exact model on Airsoft, was done to this exact model at least once or twice. So you gotta modify the frame to fit it, and I wanted to do it, and that's why it took too long to make this review, because I wanted to eventually get that, but I'm not ready for it. It's like $30, and it's real steel stuff, uncompatible, so it's just a mess. Eventually I might do that though. So here are the magazines for the weapon. This is the original magazine, and the brushed steel look aluminum mag that I bought spare. They cost like $20 if you want a spare mag. These mags hold about 16 rounds in them, and it is single stacked. You put your gas in the bottom of the mag, and you can get, well, no, you can't get that many rounds out. These things are real gas hogs, so I recommend you do the gas tape mod. It's in here right now, but it doesn't work too well. I think they wear out eventually, but the gas tape mod, as recommended by Eagle Eater, post a link again, he can take full credit, is a way to consume less gas when you're shooting this and get more shots. So recommend you do that if you already own this gun, or if you're going to buy it. Now, starting from the top, the feeding lips, or the mag lips, are made out of plastic. I've never had them broke on this or the other magazine, so I trust them for now, but if you drop it straight on there, it'll probably break. The followers are plastic, and they break extremely easily. When you're reloading it, I don't know if I already mentioned this video's out of order when I filmed it. You gotta stick your nail in there, otherwise this will come flying up and break on the top. This little lever will break, and it'll end up being like this, and this will stick too high up, and it'll jam your gun. It'll jam on the nozzle, and it's just a mess, and it won't lock back. Alright, so you put the gas in, and I explained how to do that. On the bumper, the mag bumper, it says Wilson Combat painted. The mag bumper on the real one is plastic, and this is metal, so I don't know why they did that. It is color-coded gunmetal gray as a scheme. It is removed with punching out these two pins, and then this and the the valve comes out and an O-ring as well. And then you can take the spring out from the bottom, or you can remove the pin from here, take off the feeding lip and the gas thingy, and that will come out, and you can take the spring from the top if desired. Here's the valve. You can release all the gas by manually pressing it down, and you need a special tool to remove it. Say if you want to put in a high flow. It has these holes on the real 1911 to indicate how many rounds are left, since they are cut out so you can see the bullets. They're just black. And that is it for the magazines. They are sized exactly like the 45 ACP round. So this is a 45 ACP shell casing, and I'm going to do a little size comparison here. There's the thickness of the magazine, and you can see if the lead was still in the round, it would fit in here. The thickness, you can hold, the real one holds 8, and I think the MEUs hold it. I think the MEUs hold 8. The original Colt 1911s only hold 7, and it is sized quite realistically. So this is what it would look like on the real gun. Alright, so now I'm going to go over all those little baggies that I showed you, and tell you all about all the little upgrades and enhancements and replacement parts that went into this gun. So right off the bat, the first thing you notice on this gun, if you're looking at its stock, you will notice that these grips are not installed. These are the Pierce grips. There's their logo. I got these off Amazon for about $10. This is a very good grip enhancement for your 1911 enhancement. They're grooves, and they go behind your grip panel so that you can have the grooves without replacing your entire pistol grip with like a Hoog rubberized grip. So it was very cheap, and I have not taken them off since. So definitely get this. See, they're kind of sized a little different from the real 1911s, so they're gonna look a little off, but they feel amazing. Alright, so what's installed in this gun, I'm just gonna start picking up the little baggies and showing them all off one by one. No particular order. This is one of the upgrades I got. I think this was a personal upgrade. Nothing to do really with enhancement. It is the stainless steel 3-leaf spring. Oh wait, no, this was a replacement because mine was shooting full auto, so I replaced it with this one. And if you're looking at this and you're wondering if you should go with Future Energy, definitely do it. It enhanced my gun, or it just made it a lot better. The trigger, the grip safety actually works, and the trigger is stiffer, feels more realistic, and it's just overall better leaf spring than the original one, which was shit. Alright, moving down the upgrades again, we have another Future Energy product. So far, Future Energy has been pretty good to me, and all their parts work just fine with WeTech. They're a Hong Kong company, so from my experience, Hong Kong's pretty good. That's where the King Arms Thompson was made. It's a recoil spring guide rod, so this is another huge difference involved with this gun. Very big difference is that when the slide is racked, you'll notice that there is a guide rod installed. Now the original gun has nothing but the barrel coming out, and it has a barrel plug in the spring. This one I installed this, and it gives the gun a whole new look. In my opinion, a much cooler look. Even though the classic Colts, the original 1911s, don't have these, I still think this is a very original classic look. So to me, it's kind of Hitman with the grips and the barrel guide rod. Alright, this was one of the more recent upgrades. BBs were falling out the barrel, so I replaced the hop up with this garter. I think 80% silicone strength. It's hop up bucking. Oh wait, excuse me, 70% hardness silicone made. And it's proven to be extremely accurate. I'll put in a little shooting clips from the Glock versus Glock.
Hit! Hit!
switched over to the Novak, and it was shooting pretty accurate. Actually, it's extremely accurate with this new pop-up rubber, and it's pretty good. Another huge improvement, simple upgrade, was this 120% strength AIP Army International product recoil spring. Only the slide recoil spring, not the hammer spring. It was made for a high cap, so this is really weak and it kind of sucks. It's enhanced apparently, and it's for a high cap 5.1 and 4.3. So if you're looking at springs, this is a very good one for your airsoft gun. That spring also made the gun really good, really tight slide. It's not rattling around like other WeTechs. And the recoil is improved because of that spring. Actually, pairing the recoil rod with that spring is a really good pair. Really good pair up. Makes the gun really tight, really solid, and it feels a lot more realistic. This was a replacement part, not necessarily an upgrade. It is a element magazine release button because the WeTech one broke. Magazine catch. No real difference. The paint came off just as fast as the WeTech did, and it's doing its job decently. A long time ago, from my local airsoft shop, I purchased a spare magazine. I think it looks nice in this box. Very satisfying to buy one of these. You know, square boxes, kind of like a candy bar. So I got this spare magazine. It actually stopped working, and because of this magazine, this gun was broken for over a year, and I had no idea what was wrong with it. And it turned out to be the mag, so that was a fail. All I had to do was put the old mag in. You know, it was leaky, so I never even bothered trying it. And when I did, it started shooting again, and I was very happy. So this mag sucks. So another problem that happened with this gun, another replacement part, which you will not see on the gun because it's not in the gun, was a replacement high kappa switches. These switches broke during disassembly. They have a little part that goes all the way through, a little triangle that goes into a triangle hole on this side, and it's stripped, so this one freely moves around, but because of the hood grip it's pushed down. And this one, if you put it on safe, it could come out and then the little springs pop out. It's just a disaster. So this gun has no safeties for now besides the grip, but every time I put it up, oh wow, it just happened right now. Yeah, so the little spring popped out. Shit. Alright, the spring stayed inside, but the switch came shooting out. I think I can film me putting it back in. That'd be interesting. Alright, so those safety switches are kind of shitty. This whole gun is made out of pop metal. I think the frame and slide might be aluminum, but I doubt it. That's WeTech for you. So those high kappa switches, I wasted like $6 on them, and I waited forever to get them. Just thought I'd show them off. They were pretty ugly looking. There's a little footage of those switches being on the gun. They were super stiff too, and I had to modify them to fit on an MEU since they're high cap. But Evike, well actually no, it wasn't Evike who sold these to me. It was Tiger HK, I think. I had to file down this part right here to get it to fit on the MEU frame. These are for high kappa only, and they look extremely ugly on this gun. Now, this is the part that broke on the pistol itself. See, it goes on each side of the gun and then connects in the middle once inside, and then they become ambidextrous. Oh, and I also had to modify in there too. Had to file that down to fit inside the gun, and it was just a mess. And this little part here isn't as long as that one, so it didn't go in there, and it was just a disaster. So that's one of the biggest problems with this gun, is that if something breaks, you want to replace something. Everybody, like e-bike and stuff, sells nothing but high kappa parts, so it's really hard for me to find MEU parts. So if you want these, just contact me. Maybe I'll sell them on eBay for like a, well, I don't know, just make me an offer. They're aluminum or pot metal, and they'll go for pretty cheap if you want them. Here's the high kappa hammer spring. It's pretty weak. I'm gonna dive a little bit into the attachments that I bought for this gun. This is a aluminum, or it's basically pot metal silencer adapter. These things break extremely easily. It's ridiculous how easy they break, and they're expensive too. I think they're $5. Most WeTechs come with these standard, but mine didn't, so I had to buy one. We're not gonna go into the silencers. We're not gonna go into attachments right away, but here's a silencer, and it requires that adapter to work on the Socom gear. Even though these Gemtechs are licensed by Socom gear, so they should probably already have the adapter built into it. One of the last upgrades I have for this gun is the Mad Bull Punisher compensator for the Socom gear. They had a Punisher that came with this already from Socom gear, and it has a striking resemblance to this gun. Same grip as the Wilson Combat, only with the Socom logo, and it says like Punisher on the side. Yeah, I'll flash a picture. Very, very similar appearance to this weapon. So I thought, why not take my own personal weapon and make it look badass. So I'll show a little bit of this on the gun later, and maybe even installation. Also, the barrel guide rod has a aluminum barrel plug with a hole in it so that it can go through it. Now, something to note about this guide rod is that it is slightly longer than the barrel itself, so my silencer and my Socom gear Punisher compensator will not work with this guide rod, so I got to put the original one back in every time I use an attachment. Another huge difference with this gun is the hammer itself. This is not the original hammer. As you notice, it is a Colt 1911 style hammer, the original, the classic, on an MEU frame, which I've never seen done before. I'm sure someone's done it, but the only reason I did this and I didn't buy the original is because I can't find the original. So as you can see, it's a Colt 1911 style hammer. Cost me about $10 on e-bike. I had to file off the back of it, so it became very short, and that took forever to do. It's made of the pot metal or aluminum, probably pot metal. And as you can see there's a part of my gun that's broken, and it keeps hitting the hammer on the old one too, and it won't break it necessarily, but just wanted to mention that. So this is what it looks like with the hammer. Personally, right now it looks kind of ugly, but once it's down, it looks kind of cool. I don't know. Here's the original hammer. It's a combat hammer. It's I like it better, and it makes a totally different noise when you cock it. The new noise is pretty cool. Another thing with this is that it had like a 2-stage trigger safety thing. It wasn't like 2-stage like a P22. It was like if you tried to decock it, it'd stay right here, and it's supposed to do this, but if you tried to decock it, it'd only go halfway, and if you pulled it down to here, it'd stop here unless you pulled it all the way down. On this one, it does that. This poses a problem if it has gas and you do this and you accidentally let it go. The gun will cycle and will hit your thumb. It happened to me. So I gotta like push down on the top part of the hammer to make sure it goes all the way in, because it's hard to touch the hammer with this beaver tail, because it is not meant for this gun. Another thing is because of that, you can decock the weapon, which is cool. It will most likely cycle gas, but it is kind of cool. Here are a lot of the original parts. Original magazine release button. Here's the barrel plug, the original one. Here's the spring, original, very weak, very shitty. Original guide rod thingy. I accidentally bought this when my magazine release button broke. I purchased this from Evike. It was the only available magazine release for 1911, but it was a high cap. This is, I think, Element, and it's very lightweight, and it'll probably snap. I don't know what that is. That's from a different gun. And here's the original leaf spring. Very identical, so I drew a little circle on it. It's very shitty, and it'll eventually start going full auto on you. So might want to replace those parts I talked about on this gun. Alright, to load this weapon, if you choose to use propane, I highly suggest you don't. Using propane, a lot of things broke on this gun. And I think it may have broken the mag too. I don't know, but I had 5 different guns break from using propane. Wii G36, Wii M9 from Burt, and also I think a Mac 11 from K2A broke. That broke, and I think that's 5. I lost track, but yeah, 5 gas blowbacks all broke as soon as I started using propane. So I've been using green gas ever since, and I will never dare to put propane in a K2A gun. It actually voids your warranty if you do, but this is WeTech. It'll definitely break eventually, even with green gas. These things will break. So I suggest buying these tiny little cans of green gas from Airsplat. You can carry them around on the field, and they're quite cheap, and they're really good. Don't buy King Arms green gas. That is basically propane, and it sucks. So if you're going to use this mag with the bumper on it, the MEU mag, most MEUs will have this mag bumper on there. You need to make sure your gas can has a long enough thing on it to fit into the MEU mag. So you put them upside down for demonstration purposes. I'll show you from the side. You push down. You keep holding until you hear the hissing stop. I'm not sure how long you do it for, because I just go by the hissing sound. With the regular mag, it doesn't have a bump plate, so you just put it in there. You don't got to worry about the length of your nozzle on this one either. If you need to expel all your gas, you push down on this valve in the back, and it should expel all your gas out of this rubber seal. To reload it, you pull down on this follower, which tends to break very often, so you might need to buy another one. Personally, I put my nail as deep in there as I can to keep it from flying back up, because it will break the follower if it hits the top, which has happened many times. It should lock into this tab, which is way too small, which is why it often does it on its own. Shit. Personally, I recommend 25s with this gun, .25s. 20s will work fine, but 25s work really well with gas blowbacks. So if you can get it to successfully stay locked, because these things tend to shoot up very often, you grab your speed loader. What the hell? Where's my damn speed loader? Feed the BBs into this little hole. You can do it by hand, of course. Personally, I like to put in only 8 rounds for max realism, since it's a 1911. And you want to be careful, even if you have rounds in here and you pull it down and the rounds are here and you let them go, they could come shooting out of here, and they go with a lot of force. Here's how they sound when you put them in. This is MEU mag, has the original paint on it, so it sounds pretty good. It sounds pretty smooth, or it is pretty smooth. It doesn't sound smooth. And brush steel look mag sounds kind of scratchy, like Black Ops. And we're gonna go over my attachments for this weapon. So here is a suppressor. This is from licensed by Gemtech, which actually licensed this gun as well. Socom Gear got the rights for, well, not the rights, they got the licensing for Wilson Combat, and they also got it for Gemtech. So this is the Gemtech Outback 2 for a 22 long rifle. Mistake, because this is a 45, I made a mistake buying this, and it turned out to be a lot shorter than I thought it would. I was basically going for something the same thickness, the same width of the slide, so I guess it's alright. And when you buy these, be noteworthy that they scratch and scuff extremely easily, really easy. So they are 14 millimeter threads. I'm not sure if they're clockwise or not. And you do need one of these adapters that I talked about earlier, and they're quite cheap. in terms of their quality, not the price. So usually these come glued onto the gun. Since it's not glued on, it's really annoying when you're putting this on. I'll show it to you. Gun is already threaded for the adapter. The short side goes in first. My barrel's pretty tight on there since I Loctited it to the chamber. So usually they come glued on like this, so when you get your silencer it's very easy. Although with this one, put it on, it's going in the opposite direction that it was on the gun. So once it's fully tightened onto the suppressor, it'll start to untighten from the gun itself. So I do it very carefully here, and now the suppressor is on. So this is what it looks like with a sound suppressor. I think it looks pretty cool. Alright, so that was a review on the Wilson Combat CQB. Alright, so that was the review on my Wilson Combat CQB Elite personal customized pistol, nicknamed Novak because when I first bought it, I had no idea what it was, and I saw Novak Next from Socom Gear, and I assumed that's what it was. But I'm using my iPod right now. The camera died, and it's starting to rain. This is my personal handgun, fully customized gas blowback, and it's been a favorite of mine for quite some time. Still shoots after 5 years, although I can't really say that with full confidence considering I had to replace a lot of parts on it. But the tolerance on it is really good, like really good tolerance for those new parts. So if you're gonna buy one of these Socom Gears or WeTech 1911s, you definitely have to do a lot of replacing or upgrading to get them to be really good. So there's gonna be some shooting clips. I don't have any gas left. I was gonna finish a montage for this, a second montage, since there was one a long time ago. And you're gonna see some of it shooting. It shoots really well, and it's pretty. I don't know if it's a hard hitter, maybe like 330 FPS or whatever. I only run it with 8 rounds every time I shoot it, just for realism. And I plan on putting the original hammer, buying a combat hammer and putting that back in there, and maybe a what's it called, the Tanya Koba twist inner barrel. I want to put that in there, and maybe the magwell. I do want to paint it. I said once I wasn't going to paint it, but I think I will paint it the original colors, so it'll look brand new. But that was a full review on the Wilson Combat CQB Elite 1911, nicknamed Novak gas blowback pistol, full metal, and it is quite the beast.